now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wow, that's what
We're
I'm
not live
talking
yet.
about. Oh.
We're not live yet.
What?
Okay, we should be good in a minute.
You're such a party pooper, dude.
Just waiting for the
Party
audio to load up.
Isn't he?
Just being means it just means
He's just too formal, brother.
okay. Audio is good.
It's good, yes. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam
Alaikum salam.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Party Pooper. How are you, mate?
Just close the door. Close the door, please.
I thought you left it open for
Yeah, what
some
about
reason.
the-
Just close the door,
Wow.
please. Thank you.
But can you let our mate know that we're inside here?
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He will hear us.
No, he won't.
He will hear us.
With this amazing soundproofing that we've done on this room,
Yeah. No. He'll hear us. Yeah.
there's nothing that can be heard.
Yeah, mashallah.
Inshallah.
Arrest
Mashallah.
warrants.
For who?
What? Where have you been? Before we get into any
Oh,
of-
okay. Yes.
before we get into any of this, Melbourne people that there's too much to talk about.
Yeah.
So
All
I
right,
think let's
I just came out of class teaching for last 2 hours, so my brain's a bit mush,
let's
so-
do a catch up on the class, not from yourself.
yeah.
Sheikh Irfan,
Check it. Understood.
how is has Malana screamed at anyone, told anyone off?
No, he's being very polite to these guys. I'm telling you.
Are you
He's very-
serious?
Yeah.
Why do they get politeness?
You know, because I don't know. If I told them just now, I just told them that listen, you know, if you like, they said
He
when
doesn't know where
when's
to
the
go.
1 year like when's the cut off, like this course is for 1 year, so it'll be because we started in October, so we'll be in October next year. And I said, listen, I'll teach you till if you're ready to teach and take the lesson seriously and actually prepare for it, you know, then I'll teach you. So, but if you just come waste my time and expect to be spoon fed, you know, learning is the
That doesn't answer my question.
yeah. So what was the question again?
Where is he
So
going?
I've been
There's
nice,
some
but
guilt-
also,
there's some
you know,
guilt
like
on-
expect them to do
No,
something.
Bro, I
because-
walked in and there was smiles on your students' faces.
Yes.
Oh wow.
There was
Okay.
a smile on
Because,
your face. What's happening?
Because I have been in class with him before,
Yeah.
and if you ask too many questions, it will put you off. You know, and this is not meant for this class. You know,
Yeah.
this is meant
So
for.
there's
I didn't answer. I
So
didn't.
the students
was
don't-
there,
the
was there,
students don't
There were
ask
many
you
questions, you know, all Asri and all. It's okay. I just,
oh,
mashallah,
yeah, yeah.
you're very polite, mashallah. Now. I don't know what has changed him, mashallah.
The students of today, they talk about their teachers to their face. Like what they,
Yeah, but
what are you
no, I
comparing it
asked
against?
him. I asked him.
Yeah.
No, mashallah.
He's comparing against your previous class.
Okay. The Doncaster one.
Yes,
Really? I was nice as well.
mashallah.
That means you were.
Really? I don't
should we
remember.
Say it in Aussie slang.
Maybe he was home, you know, was feeling.
Too confident.
See, look, he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
He's got nowhere to go. So that means I noticed a big change.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, is it having a daughter? So was the Doncaster
I don't
class
think
before
so.
or after the daughter?
Before, much before, I think.
This is like
So
4
there
years
you
ago.
go.
4
So
years
there you
ago.
go.
Yeah.
So having a daughter has mellowed you out.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it has.
You have.
Uh,
I've
has,
seen you. I've seen a maktab before, 2017. I've seen you.
Wow.
I have seen.
Really?
Wow.
He will. Okay.
Maybe I don't care
Wait,
anymore.
wait,
Like,
Let me not go there.
yeah.
What, you just,
Anyway.
I'm just getting money
Like,
off you guys. That's why I'm teaching you.
I have seen someone eat pepper. Why?
Pepper. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Like I fed him chilies. The way I
Punishment.
No, like metaphorically.
Okay. Yeah. Here or Doncaster?
Cost.
Tell
Long
me more.
time
You
ago.
got- you
Long
got-
time ago.
elaborate.
Really?
Yeah,
Elaborate, Irfan.
it's
So you ripped this
Was
guy.
a student or
a
adult?
student, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like some people just deserve it. Like they need to be told. Yeah. Some people
Yeah, you're
deserve
right.
to
You're
be
right. I can't.
reprimanded and told off. That's a thing.
If you're an
Like,
a-hole, you get treated like an a-hole.
yeah. Well, I'm not treating like I'm treating like I mean,
Discipline.
I'm-
Discipline.
discipline. You know.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Oh, mashallah.
To use a stern word and like, you know.
So what was his stern word, Irfan? I'm going to Irfan for all these.
No,
You're
no,
gonna-
no, no,
You're,
no,
you're
no,
just
no.
why,
Nothing
no,
swearing.
No stern words. But
you don't swear. Why don't you swear?
I'm talking.
Look, if
You're an
you
alim.
had studied with my father, then you would.
We don't know about your daddy issues.
No. you would have. I expect from the students somewhat of the effort I made
Yeah.
to present myself. Like my father was very strict because he was extremely intelligent, So when he read a book in front of him, like an Arabic book, like so I used to study madrasa during the day, and night I used to read the books. I read many other books with him as well, but when I used to read the book with him that I studied during the day, and if I made Arabic readings, like third, fourth year in madrasa, and I made an error in the Arabic, and that was it. Like it was it's a very harsh statement in Pashto, like you're basically eating poo, like that's like you're talking, yeah, fill in the gaps, like that's your reading level is like that. He goes, because you actually are pathetic in your reading.
Come on.
Yeah. It was like I was
that explains a lot.
About fourth or fifth year. But the thing is,
wait.
Then I made somewhat of an effort, and alhamdulillah, I made an effort for like 6-7 years.
Do you need a hug?
No, I'm good, mate. I'm good. And but it was expected, and I think like very few people get that reality check. See, when he studied, it wasn't that the teacher was telling them off. They would, like my father, rahmatullah, said that they went to like one of the greatest ulama of their generation, Maulana Yusuf bin Nuri, rahmatullah. He went to him, the principal of madrasa. He said,
which madrasa? This
is in the Binori town in Karachi. So he said, this teacher can't, like a group of students went. So this is like Pakistani students, right? And most of them from the northwest. So they've studied already. They've studied like the old way with sheikhs, like in the mountains, whatever.
Yep.
So now, like, and they're just hardworking people because they're farmers. And hardworking people, like when you put them to study, they like really like they have the physical stamina to sit and study 10, 12 hours a day. Like honestly, like, there's a physicality to studying and reading. Yeah. And so once they came to city, and then they was studying there. That like the teacher was like not reading the book properly. He made a mistake in reading. So my father is part of the group of students that goes to, this is in the 50s, 60s. He goes to the principal madrasa. This guy can't read the book properly. How is he going to teach us?
Oh.
Do you understand? Like, not that I copped it. His teacher copped it from him on behalf of the group of students, like as a delegation, because we went and complained. And he goes, and then Maulana Yusuf bin Nuri said, okay, how about if I teach you? Whoa. And he goes, my father said we hit the jackpot. We got rid of that guy, and then we got like the one of the like greatest, my ulama of his generation as a teacher. And then he goes, then he taught us. The book was Usul al-Shashi, which is like a third year madrasa. Like it's actually like your first Usul al-Fiqh book. It's like an early book actually. So it's like you're not even like a full-fledged alim, but that's overseas. If you go, especially in Pakistan, India, these countries, quote unquote third world countries, and then the hardworking students, they're like that. They are like the teacher. You have to, like, the teachers just can't just be a nobody. The teacher has to outdo those students.
Of course.
Yeah, like, but it has to be just to, like, he can't be a dunce. Like, it has to be. So the teacher's usually special as well. In most institutes, there's a lot of competition.
So if he makes mistakes, talk to me.
Yeah, there are mistakes, but
the new ones are picking up.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The newbies. I don't dare to. I don't.
Yeah, sometimes there's like the typos.
See, the problem is he's traumatized by you.
I'm not traumatized.
Even when you make mistakes, bro, you're traumatized.
I'm not.
Even when you make mistakes, he's not going to say anything. I'm traumatized by him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, we're not. We love you. Do you want a hug?
So anyway, so what was I saying? So because that experience, does inform, like, there's an expectation. I think what he did was a great expectation.
But I think it's good because this comes down to when you're sitting in front of a teacher and learning formally, then it's not only the book or the knowledge that's getting transferred, it's the adab, it's all the other things.
Yeah.
The preparation before class, these things are taught.
Yeah.
And that's why, this from the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when you see those students that are sitting with teachers, in front of teachers, it's a massive difference to guys. Like, even now.
And you're not required to teach.
That tarbiyah is not transferred.
Like, there's other things as well. Like, for example, like, I remember once I was standing and someone was sitting and I was explaining something about deen or something, just talking. And my father came call me and goes, why are you standing and he's sitting? Like, why are you explaining deen to him while he's sitting on the chair and you're standing? Because an Aussie, like, don't think of that. You don't even think of that. That's not even. It doesn't even process that thing that guy's being disrespectful. But then father said no, because he should stand up and, like, especially if it's explaining deen to them. So like, I learned that you don't have to teach everybody.
It's these adabs,
like, there's certain things you have to teach. Like, there's people who have their fard knowledge that they come and ask for. But then when it comes to training ulama or ilm, like, no, I'm not required to teach. We're not required to teach Like I failed so many students last 2 years that when I told Sheikh Hassan Ali, he was so happy from London.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was so happy. I mentioned to him, he was like, that's the way it should be. And even Mufti Rahman as well. A few of them I mentioned, I go, yeah, I feel like I'm losing more. There's more students I'm failing than passing. And he said, no, that's the way it should be. Because you should have a standard. You should have a expectation from students. And if you are, alhamdulillah, like as at least one student, like mashallah, like
mashallah,
I have one student at the moment who's becoming a mufti. And another student, mashallah, he just, Maulana Abdul Qadir, he just finished his hifz.
Hifz, mashallah, yeah.
So his graduation for hifz is this weekend. So that's from Maulana Uzair's Darul Quran, Dandenong.
Has he been going there and doing hifz?
For the last 3.5 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
At the age of 33, mashallah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
That's commitment, and that is impressive.
Because if you see all the other names, like there's a few 20s, early 20s,
yes,
and then 18, or most of them are teenagers.
Yes.
But to have his name there,
Are
mashallah.
you going?
Inshallah.
This weekend when he sent me that
I got
email.
so many jalsas to go this weekend. It's just not. It's crazy. Like there's
He's dropping how popular he is right now.
no. I have to go to jalsas. You know?
Wow.
I just get invited to all these.
I've been invited to so many parties this weekend. I just don't know which one I'm gonna
I don't know how to fit them all in. And
but you're coming up with. I've got so many injustices to go.
but they no, mashallah. So that he's like that's a student like mashallah. I reward him and accept from him. But there's another student. He's in the middle. He sent me his fatwas that got published online. So it was like nice to see. Like he's in the middle of Mufti course. Part of the Mufti training is writing fatwas. If the teacher esteems them to be good, he puts them up on his website. So as a fatwa that he's approved. So that's good. That's nice to see when you see students doing work. Alhamdulillah.
That's good.
I
I think having
Allah accept, inshallah.
having that expectation is good.
Yeah.
I know his expectations are very high.
People complain to my father about me.
Yeah, no, his
about madrasa. And my father said, you run a madrasa for 6 months, then talk. At the moment, madrasa is very quiet because you try for 6 months and then we'll talk about it. Yeah. Especially at that time when we were boarding and so many little bits and pieces.
That was chaos.
Yeah. But we're getting through it.
Mashallah, it was chaos.
But just then we have to move. And in all the movements and COVID, we're sort of like restarting again. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Look,
But there's the good thing with madrasa, sometimes I think like deen gives you a perspective. I think a lot about the isms that we are swimming in, especially capitalism. That's a big one because it's not like
I think this last 1.5 years has even brought the effectiveness of capitalism and whether it works to the fore as well.
Yeah. So
The whole
but how capitalistic we are as Muslims, how influenced we are, and we can't shake it off, and we don't realize it. It's so insidious that it's like permeated like all aspects of our deen as well.
Explain yourself, young man.
Like when we do deeni projects, like part of capitalism is it's not, there's no end to it. So it's perpetual accumulation of capital. So that perpetuality or that continuity of that almost like, so a billionaire wouldn't stop at $1 billion. It's very rare. Like among billions, 1 in a billion might decide to like call it quits or give it a charity or whatever. But then it took for him to stop. Even the guys that became billionaires and they gave their money away, they didn't stop at $1 million, 10 million. They kept on going until the last minute. They're just accumulating capital. Now they're not really giving it away. I mean, as far as I can see, they put him in trusts. They put him in trusts and whatnot. But it's like this continuous like accumulation of collecting things. I don't know if it's an Aussie thing or it's like just if you have your basic needs met, like to a certain degree, like
we just chill.
Yeah, is to be content with what you have. Sometimes, like I think about madrasa, that it was like very active because we're all in one location. Now it's in 3 locations, so it's kind of like a little bit, it's smaller in each place. And is perpetual growth a good thing? Is growth for the sake of growth a good thing? Is it like, because work of deen can be done in different ways. You could be teaching Quran in your local mosque in a corner, and you can just like, I'm literally in a corner of a masjid sitting and just teaching, which I enjoy. Like and as long as students are there, you'll teach. I'll teach, inshallah. But inshallah. It's removing that capitalistic thing. Like once you remove the capital out of it to a certain degree, like money is there because we do, like we have 7, 8 teachers. So of course, there's contributors, family, friends, and beyond the community who support the madrasa on a regular basis. So you pay the teachers so they can dedicate their time to teaching. So they don't have to go look for another job, even though many of them have other jobs, including myself. But
That's the thing that I find sad. That's what sucks.
yeah, I mean, and then like, but if you can do it, you can break that. Like one of the things that, when I studied, one of the good things when I studied madrasa, like I wasn't getting a scholarship or anybody. I was living in Australia, studying madrasa full from 6 years while working, right? And one of the great like da'is, he passed away, rahmullah, ahlullah, very pious person. Like when he heard that, he was so happy that someone is working and studying, right? So in like I was working in a call center, like doing Australian experience, like going through. But I'm actually happy that I did.
That was one of the best jobs I ever had, man.
Like done all the jobs through uni and everything. Like done everything. That's a good thing about Australia. We get that life experience. I don't know what you call it. Fruit picking, car washing, done everything, mate. Factory work, production line. Yeah, stopping a production line, man. Try stopping a production line for salat. Oof. I mean, the workers are happy. The foreman is not. I got 5 minutes. I got to go. Just walk off, and this the whole machinery. Like there's a line.
What was the production line for?
It was books or something. It was.
So couldn't someone jump in your place?
No, they couldn't. Like they didn't have enough or something like that. So that just stopped the whole production. The machines, the whole factory just got quiet because one guy just. So they got it staff only to a certain amount of staff there. So it was a big production line as well.
So you killed this business.
Huh? 5 minutes. No, the barakah will come in as business. There's a musalli. But like it was all those experiences, whether working in the office or whether be working like a call center or whatever, they do help.
Make you what you are.
Yeah, exactly. And it helps you in masail. And it helps you in fiqh things. Like because you know about people's life, because you live their experience. If I was like in madrasa till I was like 30 overseas, I don't know what a superannuation is. I don't know what, like we might take those things for granted, like just life,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
And when they come up with their nonsense, like why they can't do something, like when the brothers come and they said, "Nah, this like you wouldn't understand this profession I'm in." Like, all right, yeah, tell me about it. Let's give me a try, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, then you can come up with solutions for them. Like because you deal with so many, and also you deal with a lot of people. They work.
So how do you do that with your current students that aren't working in call centers?
Well, some of them are working. They are working. Like one of them works in a acai berry place, and they got like little jobs.
Have you tasted acai? Have we talked about this?
I don't know what that is. It seems to me like blueberry.
It's
yogurt.
That's a berry, I think.
Yeah. Another one he does. Another one works for a pharmacy, like delivers medicines, and they got different jobs.
Sigma.
I don't know what that.
It's the biggest pharmaceutical delivery.
No, I don't know. Whatever they're doing, but they're doing. They're doing jobs. They're working.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So people do find, which is good, which is a good thing.
Oh, it's important.
Yeah,
It's very important.
Yeah. It teaches him.
Why has he got that? Why does he look like he's got a cheeky smile?
No.
We need a camera on Irfan.
No, alhamdulillah, you can see me now.
You can see his hand.
You can see his
Even
hand.
a wave.
He's like, do you remember Hey Hey Saturday?
Who?
Daryl Summers.
Dicky?
Saturday. Yeah.
Dicky. The one, the head, the mop.
That's Irfan. He's our mop. I'll show you after what I'm talking
Yeah.
There was so much racism on that show. Do you remember that?
There's only a handful of students in the Alim course at the moment. So it's 2 classes.
Are you answering a question?
Somebody asked how many. A few. So
He actually goes and sits by himself.
we're starting a new class probably next year. We're just
Inshallah.
about to launch it
Inshallah.
in the next fortnight, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We've been saying the next fortnight for the last 2 months, so we better do it now quickly
Have you?
before these fortnights end.
Well, the year's almost over, man. We're in
No, it'll be
November.
after Ramadan. So we
Okay.
want to sort of launch it in December so people can make a decision over the holidays. January, February, March.
Full-time class?
This is part-time in the morning, 6:45 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. in the south, in Dandenong. Yeah.
Mashallah.
So, inshallah.
6:45 to 9:45 and then off to work.
What's that?
And then off to work.
For them, yeah. I mean, whatever. They can do whatever they want. They go home and sleep if they want. But, yeah. So that's sort of in the agenda next year, inshallah. So there's like new things. I mean, alhamdulillah, we'll always teach,
how
always
is the
write.
South? How is the South after a year there? Has it been a year? 2 years? It's been a year.
I've been there it's been 1 year.
And
exactly.
What's your conclusion? So you've been in the extreme west. You're now, you couldn't call it extreme south, but you're south.
It's its own world. That's one thing. It's got its own sort of vibe. It's got its own community, right? Like you got Afghani community. So that's like, like
90%
that's the Lebos of the south. I don't know, whatever you want to. I'm just trying to compare it to northern. So northern Melbourne is Turks and Lebanese. Yeah, there are Turks there as well. There's Lebanese, but there's not a lot of Arabs there. Albanians, Bosnian. So there's Albanian mosque. There's Bosnian mosque. There's Bosnian one's close to my house. Turkish. There's two Turkish mosques. Noble Park.
Okay.
And so that's
Is that close to your house?
Yeah, literally 3 minutes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's the closest masjid to me. I'm in the north part of Keysborough.
I pray at Noble Park like probably once or twice a week.
All right, that's good for you, mate.
I'm coming past.
Right.
What's your address?
Yeah.
So tell us live on air.
So anyway, that's there. Then you got like you come into town. Then it's like there's an Afghani mosque there. Then the PTC, which is like a youth masjid. So it's like mixed. There's Afghanis. There's Arab. It's like a mixture of communities. Then you've got like some Pakistani organizations there as well. But Afghani is like probably the biggest communities in terms of all the businesses that are running there in the market, Dandenong market and all that. They're very, very active community and seems to be everywhere. They seem to be all around that area. They seem to go there first, I think, in terms of migration.
Mm-hmm.
So, but very different vibe to the north where I grew up and connected to Masjid and so forth in the north.
Yep.
So Preston, all these areas in the north. So it's a very different.
What do you prefer? What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy more?
I think because if something that attachment or familiarity forms in your youth, that's a bit more thing. But I think like suburbs are generic enough that like I was in Melton for like 2 years or whatever.
Now Melton's different to everyone.
That's a different hub. And then in between it, they got all those Tarneed areas, which is like a different hub as well.
The West is different.
Yeah.
One of the reasons for the West being so different is lack of trees.
It's just a plain.
It has a massive impact
Yeah.
on the psychological. I read a report. I read a thing on this study on this ages ago.
Your mic's not facing you.
It has a massive impact. Hello, Mike.
Turn it towards yourself.
Turn
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It has a massive impact
Yeah.
on the psychological well-being of people. Just trees,
Yeah.
shelter, and heat within the suburb, within the house. If you go to the western suburbs, you feel that.
No, if you go to Melton, where I lived,
same thing.
it's so many trees there, so many parks.
but it's not like the West. The heat is different.
Then like because I grew up most of my life in Doncaster, which is
leafy
like green hills, rolling hills.
Upper middle class.
No, but it is. But no. But it is. Huh?
I can't stand hills.
No. Makes it nice. The views are nicer.
No way, man.
Yeah.
My mum's house is there. The views are so nice compared to anywhere else in Melbourne. Anywhere I've lived.
I'm not worried about the views. I just can't stand hills. Like I remember I think it's potentially trauma from high school or just catching buses where there's just where we used to live was hills, so you had to walk. Even primary school walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, hills don't do it for me.
No, hills
Unless I'm in a car.
Walking. Yeah, that's a hard part if you had to, but it's actually like it's beautiful. Like it makes the area beautiful, nice.
Give me a flat plain with trees and a nice little river. Gum trees.
Somebody asked the question, do you have opportunities where the graduates are guided after they complete the course so that they're not lost in the business of the world? Good
We've
question.
discussed this quite a lot.
Yeah, if you are his best student, inshallah, you will have some.
I think like that comes to a different aspects of madrasa, which is mentorship. Also, it depends on the person as well.
That's right.
So one of the ulama, his students sort of went off, off the rails a bit. So I asked him, I said, why don't you contact him? Like he's your student. Like I requested him, can you go like just get in touch with him? He's your student, but he's gone off the rails.
Do something about it.
And he said, no. He said there's only so much you can do. He goes, the onus is on him as an adult.
Yeah, that's
They're
fair.
not a child. The onus is as an adult to also reach out as well to their teachers. So I think that's one thing. You can always remind students. Some students, like they hated when they were in madrasa and they were there because their parents wanted them. So they just rebel and they go flip, and go totally not against deen, but just go hard in dunya. So I think constant mentorship and being connected with your teachers, especially your senior teachers who've been there for a long time, and they can give you, like one of my teachers, like about one of his relatives was also an alim. He advised him, like, don't be away from teaching too long because he's working in the Islamic finance industry. Now, although that's sort of like an Islamic religious job, like in the Middle East or Dubai or whatever, but he gave him a heads up that, look, like once you're out of
that's not teaching.
Yeah, you're not doing the job of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, you're approving Sharia contracts, but you're not doing the job of Rasulullah in short, because Rasulullah said, "Inna ma bu'ithtu," indeed I was sent as a teacher, mu'allima, so I was sent as a teacher. So, that as an educator, as a teacher. So if you're not transferring, because the biggest job of an alim is to make other ulama. Because remember, knowledge is inheritance.
Yep.
So the miras has to be preserved, and then effort has to be made to preserve it and practice it obviously as well, but also transfer it intact without corruptions. That is a huge amana. So the biggest job of an alim is to make other ulama. So I think that's not everyone able to do that, but if they totally lose touch with knowledge, that's, I think we talked about this. You're right. We have talked about this before.
Many times.
You have opportunities to graduate. We were trying to create something in the madrasa, but the numbers are so low at the moment. Inshallah, in the future it grows. Where we have it as it's called a forum, like a weekly gathering, and we're trying to create something at the moment between several institutions and our Mufti Faisal and others, basically like a monthly forum. So, various projects that are happening, like for example, Darul Ifta, Australia. So that's his Darul Ifta is training muftis. No one's doing that in Australia. So we want to know the ins and outs, how their process worked. We want to learn about it, so we're part of it, and then we can promote it. Like, okay, send your fatwas here. He's got like a dozen students who are doing mufti course.
Yeah, right.
So, like to
the Mufti
Faisal
yeah.
Faisal Reza. Anyway, so I guess like it's a very hard thing because in Australia we're so scattered. So when somebody leaves, and especially makes an intention not to see you, right? Like there are students like that.
Oh,
they
gotcha.
totally
like
they ghost you. They ghost you totally.
And how do you feel about that?
Not me, other their teachers and so forth. But like it's okay,
It's their loss.
It's like you've seen so much. By this point, you see so much betrayal or like
look at that.
No.
Caesar, hail thee Caesar.
No. You see so much
Brutus.
so much like just people like turn away from all the effort you made on them, and said like, okay, that's like I get it. Students have to do jobs, dunya jobs. That's not a thing because I keep in touch with my teachers, So you make an effort.
What are the things that you got to remember?
You send salam to their kids. You said salam to
but you're different.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think he loses sight of the fact. I feel like there's many times where and this is not a credit. We're not having a pick on Sheikh Khalid Day.
Yeah.
But you project your own tarbiyah and expect that from others.
Yeah, that could be a problem as well.
And they haven't had the same tarbiyah, rightly or wrongly. And that is an issue. And I think that's where if they sit with you for long enough, they have had your tarbiyah, then they should know better.
I don't think it's about tarbiyah. I think maybe just personality maybe.
Clash.
Yeah. No, personality. Some personalities like maybe, I don't know, appreciate my teachers. Maybe I made a connection with my teacher while I was studying, and then so I'll make dua for them. I'll try to be in touch with them. Others might not develop that connection because there's like a gap between them.
But I don't think so. I think it is about tarbiyah. Because if it's
not tarbiyah. You're putting like a weird word in the middle of it all.
Are you sure though?
Yeah, you are using the word incorrectly. I think the word
isn't it training? This is about training though. We talked about that.
No, but training doesn't create a relationship. Training creates training.
No, I'm not talking about education.
I'm talking about the same thing. Yeah. So you can train them to behave well.
Adab and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not adab. Like what you're talking about is manners, Hyderabadi manners.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Hyderabadi manners.
Character development is a different thing. I think like that's a very hard thing to develop where there's a gulf between the teacher and the student. It's very rare teachers can actually.
And do you find there's a big gulf between teachers and students for yourself?
For me, those students, it depends on the students. Some students until now, they will say like, even when they have their achievements, they'll call you to share the achievement and thank you for it. So you got those students. So they value.
So they're the ones that had good tarbiyah.
They had a contribute. They were just good. I don't think it's about my tarbiyah or anything like that. I think they were just good people. I think they're good people and they had good manners to start off with. I don't think it came out of madrasa. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I think it's from them. I think maybe their parents. I think their mum and dad had a lot more investment in their character development than me.
But after 7 years, when you're with someone for 7 years, morning to night.
Yeah, no, but they were with their parents like 23 years. So I think that's good.
That's the teachers 23 years.
No, they were their parents. They live in their parents' house.
But
so I think that's more probably formed. And someone reaches 15, 16, they already formed their person. You see that with young kids. But they've already formed their own mindset.
Allah protect us.
Yeah, exactly. So what
Allah
I'm
protect us.
somebody comes to me at 21, 22, 23.
You're doing a bad job,
How
Chef.
am I going to or like they're going to be who they are, you know? So
You know, out there,
build your
like,
dreams.
like
All
out
they
there,
are. Yeah.
you know, out there, like you speaking about the student ghosting you, but they are there opportunities outside there? I mean, today in Australia, like I know South Africa, there's a lot of opportunities for ulama to graduate and go into, but in
That's different. That's two different things.
Yeah.
One is doing the opportunity to do khidmah, so that's service the deen. That's a different thing. And one is connecting with your like
teachers.
teachers or
Maybe
former
just they
or friends you studied with even as well, your colleagues, right?
Are you friends with the people that you studied with?
Yeah.
7 years in madrasa?
I mean, yeah, we see each other, we
Yeah,
catch up, we
context.
miss each other. Like, when we see each other, we're happy to see each other. But
Yep.
because we're all like, alhamdulillah, we're happy
Busy.
to see each other. There's only 4 of us in our class.
He contacts
Who
his
was it?
teacher even. In Kuwait.
In the
You,
cla-
Mona Shakil?
no, Mufti Zakaria,
Okay.
Mufti Anas, and Maulana Osama. So it's 4 of us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's 4 of us. Mufti Maulana Shakil was there, like we was in
He was
the same
above you
room.
guys.
Yeah, he was the first batch, and we were second batch. So, but we were in the same room, like across. That would,
Oh.
yeah. So it was one classroom
Osama and Anas
for a
are
few
brothers,
years, for a while.
Yep.
What's that?
No, just asking.
He's asking
Anas.
for Osama and Anas are brothers.
And there's other guys as well that we've developed. Like, even though we, like they were like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years junior. Like Mufti Haris, for example, when I was in final year, he was in first year or something like
Is
that.
that right?
So I don't even remember him because once the classes got many, then you just sort of don't pay attention.
You just
There's
do
a lot
your
of
thing.
there's a lot of teenagers over there, you know. So they all look the same to you after
Yeah.
a while. But then like, like there'll be other guys that are like 2 years junior to us. So because we're like senior class, Sheikh Shakil was my class, and then their class. So then you sort of like.
Tabi.
We touch base like just recently, like one ulama from Sydney, like we touched base on some project.
Yep.
So there's a familiarity there because we're in the same space
Yeah,
for
yeah.
so many years, and even though we don't really know each other, but because we have the same teachers, we
Yeah,
study
okay.
the same place. There's a familiarity there, and we
An
comfort
understanding.
and we can work with each other like
Yeah.
very quick. It was very weird. Like I was, mashallah, alhamdulillah. Like I felt like, oh, that was weird. Like I don't really know him. Much younger than me. He's doing his PhD at the moment, about to finish. And like, so we had a long conversation about different projects and so forth. But it was just sort of weird. And I said, oh, okay, like because we had the same teachers and we were in the same place, despite there being like a 10, 12 year age gap and so forth. But just because of that familiarity, so you kind of have a familiarity, but then there's some people just check out, like they totally check out.
What
Yeah.
about the new batches that are coming through?
There's not much happening.
The same teachers.
I have not seen.
I don't think the same teachers.
There's definitely not same teachers. So our teachers are gone.
Oh, yeah, of
So
course.
our teachers are no longer there where we studied.
Mm.
And also, the new lot that are coming out are sort of
Careful where you go with this.
no. There's
you don't
actually
know
not
them.
much. No. There is one thing in Melbourne, like, or not in Melbourne, just generally. There is a drop in enrollments overall.
Is there?
I was speaking to my sister about this, and she was saying that we're just talking about like because people don't want to commit to something big. That's a feature of the new generation.
Yeah,
Like,
the 5 second TikTok.
Yeah, the attention span, studying for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years university. Like when we were younger, I don't think that's there anymore.
No, but they do. The university.
No, they're still there, but there's like for ilm, like it requires 6-7 years at least. There's not a lot of people ready to commit that much time to it compared to before.
Mm.
You know, and then like I mean, there are some that will always be like that, but there's very few like that. It feels
they're
like
just in-
it feels to me there's less. The general vibe that I have is that there's less.
Is that are people moving away from that because we feel like
Well, there is an uptake of part-time courses or short courses, but there's a
That'd be
fall
because-
in the Alamiya class. The
that
Alamiya
because
class.
people just physically or
Maybe
they can't afford it.
I was thinking this week, maybe it's to do with that Allah, there's a hadith meaning more or less where Allah sends breeze of khair, like breezes of goodness.
Okay.
And so when it comes, turn into it, take as much as you can because it's not going to be always there. So maybe there was like a window of opportunity. Certain things were supposed to get done at certain points. And then maybe, okay, now we got enough. There's enough here. All right. Then like,
For Australia, you mean? Because around the world, it's still pumping.
uh,
Or is it not?
Yeah, well, this is something like what's the where
I'd be
where does it
curious
stop?
to know.
Yeah. So I noticed in one country, I won't mention the name of the country. That this is speaking to the principle of like they're not getting the local Muslims studying; they're getting foreigners coming and studying. Before, the majority of students were locals.
Yeah.
So is it that they've used up all the local population? Like whoever was meant to study from that population studied. Now the madrasa is full of just like foreigners. So foreigners come study, the locals won't study. So this is like strange. Like it's a strange shift. Maybe it's place to place, country to country. And so is it
because could it be that the foreigners are coming and for this reason the locals feel...
No, it's like kind of like they've almost replaced them. And so...
But the locals feels like they can't go because of the foreigners?
No, the locals stopped, so they had to open up to more foreigners, and the foreigners are, they're coming from more poorer countries, so for them it's like advantageous to be fed and for 6-7 years as well. That's another thing, like they can study.
Bro, nobody is going to go to madrasa.
No, it depends on where
breakfast, lunch and dinner.
it depends on the country you're in.
Do you genuinely believe that?
People used to send their kids to madrasa because they couldn't feed them. Madrasa would feed them. That's a historical in India. That's
is that right?
Yeah. Maybe it's even happened till now. They're going to get an education. They're going to be fed. Come on, like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that happened.
I had no idea.
And maybe still, and that probably happens in many places as well. It does happen.
Is that what your dad did with you?
You need to go back to history.
Go back to my history.
No, I think it's a current thing as well in some places. So yeah,
is it?
Yeah. So that's something I just noticed that like the demand that was there before is not as much as now. People want short courses. They'll come. Like we just had a class now.
Mashallah.
6, 8, 9 brothers studied Arabic course.
Carpark was full.
They'll come for short courses like a 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, that type of commitment, 2-3 hours a week. I think that's what most people can manage. Whether it's just they're busy with work, whether there's so many other distractions, It'd
be interesting to find, do a bit of research, a bit more research for around the world.
But you think about it, in a way, certain things will get saturated. So what your contribution is going to be? How can you contribute?
Well, now it sounds like you're discouraging people from doing
No, I'm not. I'm saying like the ilm is amazing, but like it's in the rewards are too much. But is it like, were you doing it
for a job?
Not for a job, like a unique niche that I could, there's a uniqueness to it that I can work in this area, not necessarily as like money, as a vocation, not as a job, but a vocation. Like there's a calling or vocation that I can contribute to.
Jesus spoke to me.
Sorry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's a vocation. Like you want to, like maybe there's so many distractions. I was just thinking yesterday about the amount of money that is spent on entertainment in the world.
Where do we go with that?
Sports, online media,
Netflix,
YouTube, stuff like
us.
The attention economy, entertainment, Hollywood, all this sort of, if you add all the money, trillions of dollars just for enjoyment, how much, like you could wipe out poverty,
Dude, you could wipe out poverty from some countries, like 1% of certain countries' defense budget.
Yeah. There's two really, I'm going to, the camera's gone again.
Mine?
No, this camera's, overheated again.
Is that right?
Yeah. All right, we went...
just change your double screen.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Just change your double screen.
Yeah.
I'll unplug that battery.
No, just leave it now.
No, it might overheat. It might get too hot.
It's already switched off.
Has it?
Yeah.
No, if I unplug the battery, it doesn't want to leave the seat. I'll do it.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
Yeah. So, there's 2 podcasts I would recommend on YouTube, or 2.
The Masjid Carpark?
No, definitely not.
Do some amal instead.
There's they're really, really good. The Other Book Club.
The Other Book Club? Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Like you will actually learn stuff in it. It's a book read. They go through different things, talking about Islamic culture. Very, very nice. Very, very enjoyable. The brother there, I think he's an English brother. Very, very nice. And there's another one that he's got. If you want to, because it's like so useful and beneficial. The The other one's called History Run, isn't it? No, History Run.
It's got only two. Other book club has only two episodes.
Yeah, but just listen to it. You'll see what I mean. History. I call it History Run. History UN. So, History UN. I think that's what it's. But
so the other book club
and History UN.
Okay.
History UN.
How do you subscribe?
Really, really enjoyable. I like, they have like I think like a Zoom thing, and then they discuss different topics. I don't know much about it, but from a history perspective, articulation of the brother.
What is it? Other book club? What was the other one?
Other book club, they read stuff and then they discuss it, and so he was talking about
Yep.
Muslims had and History UN. Same guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed to it. So what's the difference between that and the other book club?
No, they're two different things. One is like, it's very similar, but you'll actually learn things, inshallah.
Even more than I learned from you.
Yeah. He talks about society. Ibn Khaldun, he uses him to analyze what's happening. So there was a discussion, he's going through Ibn Khaldun.
Okay.
So Ibn Khaldun Muqaddamah, because that's like a masterpiece of like everything. Like, it's worthwhile read. It's been translated several times in English, and it's just a masterpiece written many, many hundreds of years ago about sociology, history, empires, collapse, peoples.
What is it called?
The Muqaddamah, the introduction of Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddamah. It's very, very popular. So anyway, he talks about the fall of an empire happens. The last industry that they produce is music.
Wow.
Yeah. It's sort of like...
He talked about it back then?
Yeah, because he analyzed the rise and fall of empires and the lifespan of empires, and he's a very, very interesting, like a person. Anyway, there's a whole topic, but he talks about like how empires collapse, and the last industry that they develop and perfect is music, because they're so bored. And the other thing is like anything that satisfies enough. So he said, like listening is the Ayashi of the ears, like Muslim music, and it's like the lust of the ears. Sometimes we listen to talks like that, or maybe podcasts.
Maybe people listen to a voice like that.
Secondly, we're just talking as brothers. But secondly, we've got to talk, right? We're human beings. But second thing is don't to switch it, delete, unsubscribe. The second thing was that like foods. Look at how crazy people are about food,
Bro,
and the shows.
Food
and the different forms of different foods. Like
I'm one of them. I like watching food shows.
Don't put your hand up.
Yeah, so something came up. What was it? Something came up on my feed. Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
So he was like, he went to some. It was Amazon.
Palestinian.
In Amazon, he went to the Amazon and he said, "This is the last frontier of like." He talked about chefs because he's like a top chef. So he's gone. There's all these fruits and vegetables that no one's heard of.
Yeah.
There's like these berries, and he's like go through the market, like a vegetable market, and he's like tasting different things, and he's like shocked because this tastes like, feels like a mango, but it tastes like citrusy, and he's like going through the market of these like unexplored. But that's like, if you think about how much, like a guy who's French trained chef, how spoiled or how society is, that the pleasure is taken in like these like minuscule improvements and experiences. Like you'll have like little fish eggs or a little bit of what do you call it? They shave it on the food. Truffles, or like like just like the level of
explosion for the taste.
And this is like one of the things Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they were very far from. That like when they went encountered the Persian Empire, who were such a people that they were in the like extreme luxury.
Yep.
If you see like the book Islam in the World, or his Seerah book, the Prophet of Mercy, in the beginning of that he talks about the condition of the world. It's like an amazing read. Like Nabi Rahma, Prophet of Mercy, is an amazing read because he said we have all these anthropological, historical accounts now, details of empires, how they function, their political system, their days and nights, their religion, their social order, their family life. We have all these details. So he basically goes through like how terrible India was in the time that the Prophet ﷺ was born. Like literally India or Persia or the Rome, what they were getting up to. Like just think of the day when the Prophet ﷺ is born
Sallallahu.
and he comes into this world, and 40 years later his prophet who is given to him announced. What was the condition of like what we call Rome or Italy today?
So which book is that you were just talking
Nabi
about?
Rahma. So he gives like a synopsis or like goes through because we have all these accounts at the century or the generation of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that Allah sent him as a nur, as a light. His teachings are a light for the world and a guidance. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Right? So it's like he wanted to contrast the reality of the world. People have these sort of fancy they have these fancy like views of what was happening in India or Persia or any other place. It was like brutal, man. Like if you read about what the rulers did and what the people were doing, it was brutal. Nobody wants to live in that time, So anyway, they like he gave the example of like when the Persian escaped, like the Persian emperor escaped, the Muslims arrived. Like he escaped with like 200 falconeers and 200 like cheetah like trainers, and like he basically escaped with a whole zoo and 200 like there's like 1,000 chefs or something, some ridiculous amount of thing. Then the Sahabi that arrived in Persia, if I remember correctly, he was a governor. He arrived, he's got a piece of bread and salt in his hand, right? Like that's how you take an empire down, like with the
simplicity.
So he talks about this the downfall of like we're in the downfall. We don't realize that we're in the downfall.
Of the West.
Or the modern
Western
world. And he said the
philosophy,
BRICS
Western
is not the and he talks about, he goes, this is actually, because when we look at the BRICS is so one-dimensional. It's only economic. And he said the Muslim have the greatest soft power, social capital, not social capital, but like cultural capital that we can give to the world. But when we become like them, we can't give them anything. We ourselves are begging because we're begging because on their terms. Like we're asking for things and money and so forth, but we don't realize that what Allah has given us through deen. So he talks about, it's really, really good. Like I those two podcasts, they're like, whenever there's one pops up, you just like listen to, like, because you learn stuff and you make you step back from the world, and it's only like you just look at the world. Oh, it's like entangled. It's so entangled with insurance companies and the finance world, and everything's like all the dunya.
It's suffocation.
And then like real. Where's Iman? Where's...
What about crypto in all this? Where does crypto play a role?
See, we only go back to the money economics. This is what a capitalist looks like. They only think of it. No. We are. I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist.
He's making a good point.
And sometimes that's what I'm saying. The perpetual growth thing. Like I know it's about madrasa. One of the things that really put me off is like trying to acquire buildings. Like really, I've said this before, but I really like it. Kind of like annoyed me that because one sheikh said to me in Makkah Mukarramah, he said, just go teach in this corner of a mosque. Just teach. That's where I ended up now. I was like thinking about it, making dua for him. But it's like, why do I need to build another building that's got my name attached to it? I get it. There's ulama friends who are got institutions that got buildings.
People are there. It collects everyone in one place.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a Darul Ulum is. Darul Ulum is the house of knowledges, sciences. So it's pooled into one place. It's institutionalizing the classical halaqah. So the halaqah, it won't work if you do it in. And this is where decisions were made. Fatwas were given long time ago by great imams like Imam Malik, Imam Shafi and so forth, that you need to pay the imams. Else you're not going to have imams. No one's going to become an imam. Because he needs to like dedicate his time to that. Although other imams like Imam Hanifa or Imam Ahmed, they were against the view of Imam, he's got to pray 5 times Farad Salat anyway in the mosque. Like, why is he being paid for it? So there was that view as well. Then he said, no, this is not for Imamah. This is for his time that he has to dedicate to this. If we don't have people dedicated, same came for teachers and madrasas and all these sort of things. So I understand it, like institutionalizing it to a certain degree. But then you got like try to go back to the asl, because like if you look, where's Imam Hanifa's building? Like he prepared people, right?
Yeah, but do you think you're looking at two different eras? Two different situations, it's a completely different world.
And there are madrasas. There are like some madrasas in Pakistan where the teachers work half a day they work in business, half a day they teach.
Yep.
So they only teach on a volunteer basis. There are other imams, muftis and ulama who run madrasas. They will never hire a volunteer teacher because they're a cancer in madrasa.
Why?
Because they think that they're doing a favor to the madrasa. So they never take it as seriously as the guy who's working his job. His job is on the line, right? Like his job is on the line, so he's accountable then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the one that's volunteering is like a cancer.
Yeah, we're all like that. We've all got that.
Yeah. Like we're volunteering, like he's doing a favor on you. So if you're the principal and you got a guy who's doing a favor on you, like you're thankful because he's
You can't
saving.
tell him off. You can't do it.
Yeah. But like that's not. It's not about telling off, but yeah, he doesn't take it as seriously as the guy who's his job is that. So it's like it's a catch-22. There's a lot of catch-22 in this. But anyway,
Irfan, what do you think about all this?
No, mashallah. It's a good insight, I think. For me, it's a really good insight knowing all this.
Well, I've written those 2 books down. Let's see if I can get them. Apart from that, arrest warrant for Netanyahu.
yeah,
And you've
too
got-
little, too late.
Yeah, do you reckon anything's going to happen with that?
Yeah, and America's basically said we should sanction the. Did you see Lindsey Graham?
Yeah, bro. He's like, we're next.
Because like lost his.
He's lost his marbles.
You-
And if any of our allies assist with this, we're coming for you.
You heard what Trump said about Jerusalem being in this?
No,
Is it-
it's
is it-
great.
What did he say?
He's like, we are declaring it. We never declared it, but now we're declaring it as Israel's capital.
Okay, all right. I
What
mean,
else
nothing
was that?
changes.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Yeah,
Just words.
yeah. Joe's that Huckabee guy, who's like
Talk.
Yeah. I was listening to Dave Smith and he was talking about him, and he said that this is the first time in American history that we know there's evangelical minister, what do you call it, congressmen and whatnot, senators, but this is the first time that a person from the state of the United States of America is talking in religious terms that this is, Judea, Samaria, what is it? Judea and
Samaria.
Samaria. Yeah. So this is like he's referencing the Bible as the main and ambassador to it's crazy because this has never happened before. We've had quietly they say it. He said it's like even like he gave the example of like abortion. So they like even the evangelicals like in the Christian right, they will never talk about it in terms of like the Bible. They will talk about it in terms of that inception. Life starts at at the start, right?
Yeah.
That word, conception. Yeah. So it starts there, but they'll never like put it like they'll never like
Link it to Christianity.
Huh? Yeah, they will never talk in that term, even though everybody knows that's what it is. Here he goes, he's gone like full, because just like he's like quoting Bible verses and so forth. Because he's a minister, isn't he? A priest? Yeah. So that's what you're gonna get. And they're like more rabid than even
way worse.
Even
But where does it stop?
the Zionists, like what the
But
the Jewish
where-
Zionists.
they're not what the hell. They're egging them on. But where does it stop? How much? It's waking up the world. The world is waking up.
Yeah.
People are waking up. The average
Yeah.
person in the street is waking up. But they have no control because the politicians are running the joint.
Mm.
Look at even across your parents' home country. I can't say your home country, but Pakistan.
Yeah.
There's
I've got families visiting there at the moment. They couldn't get through the internet easily because there's protests.
Supporters are all
Protesting, yeah.
Islamabad's packed.
Yeah, they
on their
couldn't.
way to the jail to free him.
Yeah, but they've already put the containers up, and that's what they
No,
did.
they moved the containers.
Oh, did they?
They physically with their hands moved these full containers.
Crazy. Okay.
Right, it's crazy. Like
They'll just kill the people. That's what they'll do.
That's the thing. One minister said that just shoot him, start shooting.
That's
And that
crazy.
night, some people died, got shot, and then the next day they went against this guy.
Yeah.
Madness,
Yeah.
absolute madness.
Why is the protest there?
They want Imran Khan out, so they're actually going to the jail to get him out.
I mean, what does I get for the Pakistanis, like, I guess, a Muslim country in the subcontinent? I understand the concept of that. Have your own area, you rule it according to Muslims rule, right? Like, that's not
Yeah.
Islamic rule. Like, the Muslims are ruling
It's meant to
themselves,
be a country for
and they
Muslims.
cannot be. Those extreme sort of lynchings and whatever, the base they accuse either Muslim, which happens in parts of India, I guess.
everywhere.
That in India that happens a
lot more.
Yeah, so they're safe from that, right? That's one thing. That's understandable. But beyond that, like, is that sufficient for its existence? Like, does it serve any other
No,
purpose?
because the thing is,
Because when it came to, like,
the crunch.
it can't do anything to America. It can't do anything to the Gulf states, like block off the Hormuz Strait or anything like that, because it's
Yeah.
right there, the Arabian Sea. It's too poor to even take care of itself. It's borrowing IMF loans. It can't fight. Like, if India did really attack, it would be crazy because they both got nuclear weapons. It's a poor pathway for China to do, like, they got the go either, whatever. Like they trade.
You're making Pakistan sound amazing right now.
Like, and Afghanistan beat their,
Don't care.
like even though America like went, like supported, like America went, they tried to defeat thing and Pakistan was helping them. So Pakistan lost as well, right? Isn't it? Doesn't Pakistan lose as well because they're allies with the big guy? Their daddy lost, so they lost as well. So
The daddy.
yeah, dad lost. No, I'm saying like they were like obeying, following him and following it. So I mean, we're like what? Yeah, but then you can say that about any country because it's a Sunni Muslim country, majority country, and it's in the name of Islam. Then like
What's your point?
Point is like,
Does it need to
is this is pointless?
Okay.
Is this pointless? And so I think the people, they have to do, if they want change, they'll have to do what Bangladesh did. 1,000 died, I think there, isn't it? Like it can't be just.
You're talking revolution. You just love revolution.
No, but they did a revolution. They showed.
Yeah.
We're the same we're the same size as you. Within a month, they got rid of it because they wanted to, because they saw that as oppression. And they got out there. I don't think Pakistan. I don't know. Sure, Pakistanis got it in them.
Pakistan's got the army that's in control. Bangladesh.
No. They have an army as well, and they have a state and so forth, and they have a backers behind it outside as India interfering in Bangladesh, and so yeah. So is it like they arrested so many Indian agents and so forth.
Right.
Yeah. It's on the news. Yeah. Yeah, they caught them. These guys were like causing trouble, So that like they fully infiltrated into the Bangladesh.
Yeah.
But despite that, they managed to, come through it pretty good. Like, they send them packing like the ruler, the current rulers. So the previous rulers. So I think like they can, like if they take example, but you need much more people. Like the Bangladeshis took, like their youth came out in large numbers. I think Pakistan is too much in the army's pocket. I'm not talking about like the armies over there. The Pakistanis themselves like benefiting from the
directly from the army.
Like 10% of the land of Pakistan is owned by the army or something like 10, 15%.
Yeah, madness.
Like if you think about that, that's like they own like a chunk of country, which is the size of some countries. So if they have that much power, they have like whole industry, like 70% of the economy is run by them, similar to Egypt, then I think it's a bit too embedded and too behind the scenes in like commerce and so forth for them to just get rid of it.
Against the army.
I think the Bangladeshi army probably is smaller and less involved. Yeah. Hence the people can move them.
Yeah.
So it will probably require, unfortunately, if it goes down the road, if they're serious about it, I think these protests and so forth, I think the status quo is to remain. There'll be some flare up. It'll be a fire will be lit. It'll be put out. This is manageable. This is manageable for the army. They said, like, we can manage this. This is small. The steam will run out. That's what I think. That's what they let it.
They got to go home and work to pay the bills.
Sorry,
they got to go home and work to pay the bills.
Yeah. So we'll let it run a little bit and channel it, and then they'll go back. They'll come back again. They'll go back. Let's see. Allah knows best. Yeah, worse than that is what Biden's doing with throwing these missiles, giving permission. They want to start. It's on the way out.
He does not care.
Yeah, on the way out.
He is not caring.
They killed like 500 or something Russian and North Koreans. Absolutely. So the missile went to like a base or something apparently.
In North Korea?
No. North Koreans are fighting about 10,000 something or 100,000, whatever. Is fighting for Russia. Now they they're in the Russian army. Like they're in Ukraine fighting for Russia. And they like basically fight into that missile. I think one of them reached one of those bases or something.
So that was a message to North Korea.
So, but the thing is that the fact that just on his way out, a lame duck president or the establishment that he's running, right? That the deep state that he's been run by or he's running him or whatever.
He's not making these decisions.
So they decided just on the way, like to leave Trump with a war, like dig him in, like put him into a war. It's psychos. Yeah, but people are crazy.
But that's only if Putin retaliates with that extreme.
Yeah, well, what he did was he escalated it to an ICBM. He threw it. So ICBM is basically
letting them know we can check this.
That could have been a nuclear bomb.
Yes.
We could do this. So you better they flexed.
So he's playing chess.
Huh?
He's playing chess.
Yeah. So he's just basically they better back off. If they try that again, it'll be nuclear. And if he goes nuclear, where we'll end up, man.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad
Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. I mean, that's what you say before you die, but like what happens before we die? Is there a nuclear fallout, Are you worried about saving the trees now?
Allah protect us.
When you try and save,
Bro, more damage has been done to the environment with one B-52 bomber just doing its normal runs that it's doing
yeah.
than like countries and cities. More pollution has been people are over pollution. People are over even environment now.
Yeah, I think that people have no time for saving
Nobody
the
cares.
environment.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Because why? Because you got war.
Why?
And,
You guys
and
do whatever
people,
you want.
People,
You're worried about me where I put my Coke can.
Yeah, and they don't even get recycled, a lot of them. You know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
They're going in warehouses and
I
they...
do know that. I do know
and
that.
rubbish tip. They're going to the tip, actually.
It's crazy. It's madness. Absolute madness now.
Yeah.
This whole, that's why
people
I said
are hungry and people can't pay their bills. So who cares about
this whole capitalist system, the flaws or the what's the word I'm looking for? The illusion of the capitalist nirvana is being eradicated as we speak.
Yeah. Okay.
On that note.
If the world hasn't ended. Okay, next week I'm not going to be here. I'll be in Sydney.
Okay,
So,
the week after I might not be here. I might be.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll see. We'll work it out.
We'll restart, inshallah, the 2 weeks, even if I'm here by myself, me and Mirfan, inshallah.
Oh,
we'll
why don't I come in by myself next week?
do it.
He doesn't trust me. He does not trust me on my own.
Then you wouldn't know how to... I need my computer.
Just leave it with me.
We'll call it a night.
All right. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and
Assalamu alaikum
press
to
the bell
everybody.
icon.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.